Happy Wednesday, everyone. I got Femi with me today. If you guys don't know who Femi is, you're about to learn about who he is today. Femi's a rock star in the land industry. He's been crushing it for how many years now?
Since 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And you even did like a whole 3-month trip?
Yeah, three-month trip 2 months ago. 2 years ago. Been traveling with my wife ever since. We were able to travel pretty consistently because of the business too, and we're starting our family and still have trips planned out for the rest of the year, and it's really cool. It's all thanks to land flipping.
It's crazy. It's crazy you were able to travel that long and still grow your business, right?
Yeah. I say all the time that was a very life-changing trip. Right before it, I think I watched one of Summer's videos the other day, and he was talking about that time. And I remember going to the meetup. It's like the San Diego meetup, and my business was doing well. We were doing well, had good numbers, closing deals. But Mike was saying that he had like multiple listings selling. I'm like, how do you have like 25, 30 properties selling it? I'm like, he told me. I just couldn't open my eyes. And then I went on that trip. My business it exploded. And yeah, I've been doing deals and closing deals, scaling up, and doing that ever since. So
that's awesome, man. So, all right. So where are we at today? I mean, I know we've had a conversation before in the past, probably like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about your business then and where you were kind of growing to. I know one of your big things is you want to hit that $1 million month.
Yeah, I do. It really comes from just bigger deals. I've had some times where I was close. I wouldn't say close. Maybe about 40% of the way there.
Dude, that's pretty close, I gotta say.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to hit that this year, to be honest with you. I think it's just timing too. This is not this is not really like, oh, I make $200,000 a month business. It's not really that. It's like, you'll sell a lot of deals. It might be 30 days. You'll sell more deals. And there are times where I've had definitely like consecutive months where it's been really, really good. But some months, properties don't sell as we expect them to, right? So that's just the nature of the game. I've since started implementing text into my business. So using Launch Control, we send around 100,000 texts per month, pretty consistently hitting the numbers as well. My goal is to scale to anywhere from 250 to 350 this year in text.
That's awesome. And how's the texting been? Like, what has your, as far as it goes, how many texts to a deal? Do you know your KPIs off that?
Yeah, I'm at around 11,000 texts per deal.
Okay. And what's your average deal size for texting compared to mail?
I'll say it like this. So we actually bought a property last week, listed it on the market, bought it at 35K, listed it at 65K, same day, got a $65,000 offer. So that we're doing that pretty consistently. I had an acquisition manager in the text funnel yesterday get a deal under contract at $420,000 that we'll be able to resell for probably 680, 700, something like that, in North Carolina. So the deals really range. I try to go for profits that are in excess of 30K. As long as that's the benchmark, then I'll do the deal. It's really crazy to me how some of these smaller deals are just not worth the time and the headache. If I'm going to go through headache and issues with the seller and all this follow up and all these touch points, I want to know that on the end of that, I'm going to at least make $30,000. Because if not, it doesn't become worth your time.
Yeah.
So
by the time that $30,000 trickles into your business, you're paying this guy, you're paying that guy, you're paying VAs, you're paying all your marketing, everything like that. And what are you left with? You're probably left with only a couple $1,000, maybe $5,000 or $10,000, right?
Exactly.
So, which it sounds like, oh my God, you made $10,000 off the deal. Sounds great. But even still, you know how it goes, man. That there's so much to it. And yeah, it's volume. You got to get a bunch of those going. But when people do deals that make them only $8,000 or $10,000, how much are you left with at the end of the day? Maybe $500, $1,000, if that, it's tough.
The problem is too, I think people come into this and they watch the content and they think that the smaller deal is going to be easier. And I actually have a video I just did about this. The larger deal is most of the time going to be easier than the smaller deal to do. It is. You're dealing with a better quality of people. The brokers are better quality. They're more motivated to do the deal. The seller's better quality. They're not going to ghost you. Most of the time, they won't ghost you. The title companies want to work on that deal. So everyone involved in these transactions, when I found we're over, I'd say around 40, over 45K in acquisition price,
Mm-hmm.
better quality. And then it gets even
Yeah.
better when you're at 100,000 in acquisition price and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, we pretty much don't send an offer below 40K. That's like we do not even send an offer. We'll price it, leave it in the CRM. I mean, leave it in like our files, but like we're not mailing it out for that. Like it's just like if it comes in or whatever the case may be or whatever, like that's priced, but we're not mailing that out. We're not doing anything with that. It's just sitting there. Because at 40K, if we're offering, we're pretty much at like 75K exit. So it's worth it. It's worth it at that point. It's like a 35K spread, probably net after everything, lenders and everything like that, like 24K on a deal like that. So we just we're specific on that price. And I said that from the beginning. I want to make 30K per deal.
Right.
Like you do that, like you're good. And our average right now is like 40. We're about like 40 per deal.
Okay.
Like it's like 39 and change, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather dude, honestly, if I could do 2 deals a year, that I'd be happy as hell. Like 2 giant deals and forget everything else. Like the less deals, the better. Some people want to do like 200 deals. I don't want to do that, man. I don't.
That's the thing. When it comes to like, I've done hundreds of or I've done thousands of deals, that doesn't. I mean, all respect to everyone that says that, but I don't believe that that's like a huge accolade. I'd rather do a couple life-changing deals than do 5,000 ordinary regular deals where I made a couple grand on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just focus on doing high leverage deals with good quality people, building good relationships, and make a few $100 grand on a few deals than I have to like continuously do. Like, there's no purpose. So it's all about leverage. This game. That's what I've. It's literally all about leverage. And once you learn that, you're able to be consistent in your marketing and understand specific types of people and how to talk to them and how to close them and how to list a property so that it sells quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you win. You've won the game.
Yep. I agree, man. And it's once you start realizing that, like, yeah, the little deals can make you money. You could do them all day long, whatever. It's so much headache, so much work. That volume game is just not for me, man. I'd rather do like, if, some guys you talk to, they're like, oh, I'm doing 10 deals a month. It's like, great. What's your average deal size? Oh, like 8K, 10K. It's like, okay. Well, that's amazing, right? You're doing 100 grand a month.
Right.
Well, I'd rather do 1 deal a month that makes me like 50 or 100K.
Right.
And I have so much less headaches. I could spend more time doing other things, right? It's just like if you're traveling, there's no way you could do 10 deals consistently, like little deals. No way you could do that while traveling. Absolutely no way.
And I think the other thing too, when people start doing this, they get that first deal, right? You maybe sent out your mail or sent out your text for a while, and then you get that first deal or that first really good lead. It's important not to sit on your hands with that first one. That's one thing I learned like earlier in my career. You got to keep marketing. There are a lot of folks that will get that first one and then just allocate all their focus on that and like, okay, making sure that it clears title and all these things happen.
Yep.
But I'm not allocating my attention to the rest of my business. We got to remember, like, we're building a business. We're not trying to like, okay, deal to deal to deal. Like we need to build a business out of this.
Yep.
And the only way to do that is by, keeping things consistent with your marketing and just having processes for all these things. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned too. Yeah.
When you get a deal, you have to go, okay, awesome, celebrate for a second, but then go to the next one.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take you, look, we know this. It takes, what's your average deal cycle, right? From marketing to close, how long does it take typically?
I'd say around 70 days on the low end, around 120 days on the high end.
Yeah, pretty much. So that we figure from marketing going out the door to the deal closing on the other side, your average deal cycle is about 5 months, right? Yeah. So just waiting on that lead to come in and then working it, getting it in the door, all that stuff, you're talking about like probably 2 months there. And then you got to actually close it. That's going to take 30 days. And then you got, boom, listing it. That could take 2 months. If you're in a good market, sometimes it's not that great. I'm sitting on 2 properties now that one I've owned for 280 something days. And the other one I've owned for like 250 days. Wow. And we thought these were like hotcake deals that were going to go super quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just happens like that. That's just how life is, man.
What do you think has been the main factor in those sitting for so long?
I don't know. Everybody you talk to is like beautiful properties, this and that. Like the one is in Georgia, a great piece of property, not a big deal. We bought it for 60. We listed it for 110, thinking that it would move pretty quick. It's in a good area. There's actually 2 roads coming down it. So we thought it would be great for somebody to come in and do a subdivide and like chop it up into like little lots and then develop it. Had a couple developers look at it and they all just kind of like, man, not really, whatever. They're not too interested in it.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me, and the reason why I bought this deal, I usually would pass on it, but I bought this deal because the lot that shares its border, literally right next door to it, just sold for $357, and mine was the same exact. Like I'm actually like a half acre bigger, so I'm like, this just sold. Why wouldn't my lot sell too? Right? And you would think just on that theory alone, like there's my direct comp, it should sell. Dude, it's not moving.
Did this one have the same utilities and everything as the one that just sold?
Yeah, same everything, except their lot was actually closer to the train tracks, which actually makes it a less desirable lot. We're one off the train tracks divided by them. So it's kind of weird. It's a strange thing. We're not really understanding why it's not moving. We've had one realtor work it. Now we had a second realtor start working it. And he's like, dude, I get so many showings. People go look at it. They love it. And I'm like, bring an offer. And they just never go forward. It's so strange. The feedback is all like weird. Nobody's giving feedback. So very strange lot. And then I have another one in Harnett County, North Carolina. We bought it. It's 28.5 acres. It's got good road frontage on a 4-acre plot. And then all behind it, it's got a big open area.
Yeah.
We went under contract 3 times to close it. And all 3 times, the guy didn't get financing. The next one, he did a soil study. They did, they perk tested everything, approved for a house, approved for everything. And then they backed out right at the end. We're like, the hell?
Why did they back out?
They just backed out. They decided to go with another lot, they said.
Did you guys follow up with them like after they backed out and like have the conversation or no?
Yeah. So it's actually funny. So once we got it relisted, because as they backed out, it was right when our listing expired with that agent. So we relisted with a different agent. She's local to the property, like hyper local. And she has a bunch of builders and stuff like that. So we listed it with her. And that agent that was working with the other seller before called back and said, hey, we'd be interested in the property again, but we're going to have to come down. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going lower. Like they wanted, what do we have? We had offered I think we bought it for 140. We're all in for like 150.
Okay.
Well, now with lending, we're like because after points and stuff like that, once we pay our lender back, we're like 160. I think we're 168 all in. And we were going to sell it for 180. That would have broke us even, which I'm fine with. Break even, move on. Right now, they're like, yeah, we want it, but we want to come down to like 160. I'm like, no way. Like 160 is like killing it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to sell it, whatever. But dude, it's a great area. It's right next to it's in Cameron, which is North Carolina, Harnett County. Area is super developed, like a lot of development happening there. Problem with this one is it's right outside of that development area. Like it's right there. You know what I mean? Like it's probably in the path of growth in the next like 3 to 5 years. So it is what it is. So this one we might just have to either reposition it or, talk to my lender. My lender's he's cool with it. He's just like, yeah, let it ride. It'll sell eventually. It will. Yeah.
How aggressive are you with your pricing on the front end when you're buying these things?
We're usually this is the crazy one is we bought this thing for 140 and our agent told us all day 240. We're 240 all day long. He showed me comps all day long 240. And we were like, all right, that should be good. 100K spread. I'm good with that.
Right.
I even said let's list it at 199 to get it to like move fast. So it's under that 200K radar. And people have search parameters and see that, and they come in, maybe goes to 205. I'd be fine with that. Move it quick. Dude, it's sat for like ever. Like we had property people coming to look, but that's what happens. Like these deals, sometimes they sit, sometimes you get an offer in one day,
Right. Exactly. And that's the other thing. These things are hard to predict, but one thing that I found in positioning is just being lower listed than everybody else. That always works. And then, so being the lowest listed and then also having the best marketing. I've been able to sell properties within days just by having those two things. So if the broker or realtor is telling me a certain price, sometimes I'm going like 15% below what he's saying,
Yeah.
and I mean, like you already did, but I just think a lot of this stuff is about timing too. It's about timing. I don't think it's luck.
I think
Because
it's a
there
lot
are,
of. I
you
think
think
it is
it's a
a
lot.
little. I think there's a little luck involved.
I think some, yeah, I'll track that back. I would say that like when you've sold a certain amount of properties and you can kind of track like, all right, this one sold in this many days, I did this. Let me just follow those same, as long as I'm
Mhm.
following the same processes over and over and over again, I usually am able to get some, some pretty predictable results
Yeah.
consistently. And maybe a hair off, but you know, especially in the same market, if you're working in the same market, I can get some pretty predictable results consistently
Yeah.
if I'm just tracking those numbers. So
Are you doing any kind of marketing besides like listing with the realtor for your properties or no?
no,
No.
that's it. I've actually never done anything else
Nice.
than that. Never. There was one deal that I did where I listed a few lots on Facebook, but I ended up selling it on the MLS anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
Yeah.
MLS is best when you work with like local people who are like land specialists. They're
Mhm.
gonna get the deals done for you so much faster than anyone else,
Yeah.
even better than you. This is the other thing too with like self listing, or not even self listing, but using
Broker list.
doing all the dispositions yourself, right? There's a certain
Yeah.
amount of trust that's not built with you with those buyers,
Yeah.
and the brokers already have this trust built in. They can actually
Yeah.
walk to it. I just think it's a way better experience for the person that ends up buying it in the end, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to do. Like when I've been being very intentional about creating experiences, like really good, smooth experiences for the seller and the buyer. And when
Mhm.
you do both of these things, you make them seamless, the deals are actually a lot easier, right? So
Yeah.
when you're able to, show a seller how you've worked with other people and how you've helped, when you're able to show a buyer like, hey, here's the broker, here's what the property looks like, here's how you can best use it. When you create experiences like that for them, on both sides, you just end up closing a lot more deals.
I agree. Yeah, we actually hired a service and it was like $500 a month and they would list on Facebook for us. Like it was in addition to listing on the MLS, right? So it would just link back and they would do 10 properties for $500 a month. I'm like, cool, that's not bad. So let's try it out. Did it for 2 months. We definitely saw a higher volume of calls, but what they would do is they would link over from that lead. They would link over to the MLS and then call, right? So we
Mm,
saw a higher volume of calls like going through our agents and stuff like that. But I don't think any one of those buyers ever correlated to an actual like sale. They were
right.
just kind of like a lot of tire kickers. So like I don't know if that's the right method. Maybe there's some people that have success with it, or maybe I have to stick with it longer. We also tried self-listing, like especially double closes, like self-listing them. It's just not a good experience. It's so much more like that whole like end of the business is just like crazy. It's too much. Like also too, like you said, the trust thing.
Yeah.
That person calls in and they're like, yeah, I want to go walk the property. Okay, go ahead. Well, is somebody going to meet me there?
Me and go ahead. Yeah,
No, just
exactly.
go ahead.
Yeah.
They're like, but I don't know the property at all. Well, here's the boundary lines. It just doesn't, like you said, creating experiences doesn't create that experience. They already have a negative like mindset around it when they're going to walk that property.
Right. It's
They're like, whatever.
it's really important to look at it like this. Imagine if you're going to go buy a Ferrari. You've been wanting to buy this Ferrari for your entire life. This is something that you've dreamt of. You've invested for this. You've made smart decisions, and now you're going to go buy the Ferrari. And someone's just like, "Oh yeah, go take a look at it and tell me what you
Mhm.
think." Well,
Yeah.
where's the sales process in that? There's no sales
Right.
process. And then even
Uh-huh.
imagine on the other end, if you're going to sell your Ferrari that you've owned for years and it means so much to you, and like you do want to sell it, but it means a lot and you need someone to hold your hand and kind of walk you through that process. Well, what if someone just calls you and, oh, I'll give you $200,000 for the Ferrari, and that's
Yeah.
it, and they don't walk you through anything else, and hey, here's what I've done before. They don't build any trust with you.
Mhm.
That's how you have to look at it. I think because we don't see a lot of these deals in person, there's this element of it not being this is very real. These are real assets, right? And
Yeah.
so having that in mind, like this means a lot to someone. It may
Yep.
not mean a lot to me because this is just a product to me. I'm just moving it from one place to another. But you have to be able to see it from the other lens. When you can see it from that lens and build the trust with them based upon the analogy I gave,
Yeah.
you'll just do so much more business. You
I
will.
agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Yeah, when you're talking to a seller and you're just like, I'll give you 50K, it's like, okay, great. Well, there was no rapport built. You haven't had a conversation. You don't know why they bought this land, where it came from, anything like that. There's no backstory, right? You have zero trust. How do they understand that you're actually going to go through with the deal, right?
exactly.
So you got to build that relationship and that trust with them so that you could actually carry through the deal. And then when the things, little things come up, it's easy to go through them because there's always, every deal has something that comes up. I don't care what you're doing.
Always. And people are going to do business with those that they like, right? And so if I can build up a relationship with the seller and almost really become friends with them, right? Then even if another offer comes, this has happened before, where another offer has come along that's higher than mine or better than mine, but they say, you know what, I want to work with you because I like you. I believe that you're going to close this property. I believe that you're going to close on this. Or I've had several sellers come to us and say, hey, I've gotten a lot of offers on this property, but no one ever followed through. And so because of that, we show them several deals that we followed through on. Here's how we helped Sally do this. Here's how we helped John do this. We show them that. You build that trust. And that is a very lost element in this game, because many people are just sending out the marketing. The question becomes, how much marketing are you sending? How much marketing is it for this deal? Well, I can't tell you that because I don't know what your process is going to be like in following up with someone. I don't know how you build a relationship with someone. I don't know how you negotiate. I don't know how you take care of people. When you aim from the point of taking care of your sellers first, building trust, making sure that they like you, they want to work with you, they trust that you're going to come on the closing table on that day, then you're going to get more deals done with everyone than everyone else. It's not about, like, you could pick the most perfect market, the most perfect mailer, the most perfect text, and then you don't do that, you don't get any deals done. So that's the highest lever of this business for sure.
It's also too, like, it's almost becomes like a measuring contest, right? Where people talk about whenever you meet another land investor, the first question is how much mail are you sending? That's always like the first question. Like, how much mail are you sending? There's never like any correlations like anything else. Like, it doesn't matter how much volume you're sending. It's like, okay, well, how many people are you actually having genuine conversations with? How many offers are you making a day? How many like things like that matter more? Like, how many people have you helped this year? Like, nobody ever asks that question, right? How many people did you help sell their property this year? Oh, we bought 12 properties this year. Oh, great. Like, nobody ever asks that at all. It's always like, how much mail are you sending a month? Like, it doesn't really matter. I could send 3,000 letters a month and maybe beat you because the way because of one, I'm better on my pricing. I'm better on my market selection. I'm better on all my stuff. And, and then I actually value my conversations with my clients and everything like that. And I actually take care of them. I could probably do more deals than you with 3,000 mailers than people are sending 20.
100%.
Right? So
100%. And that's what I was going to say. So the guy that has no acquisitions processes is kind of waiting for that low hanging fruit to come in, and he sends out 30 or 40,000 mailers. I can beat that guy every time by sending out 3,500 mailers every single time, because you're not going to do the work on these things. You're not going to go through every single lead, have every conversation. You won't do it. You're just looking for, someone signed a purchase agreement and I might be able to make 50K on this. And we are building a business. We're not playing the lottery. Right. And so in order to build a business, you have to be consistent. You have to continue to have conversations. If you want to play lottery, that's fine, but that will leave you broke. It will. Like, just sending out a bunch of mail and hoping for the best will leave you broke. It always will. Running a business allows you to build wealth doing this.
Absolutely. And that's what everybody talks about too, is like, I just want to get to 20,000 pieces a month. All my problems are going to go away once I do that. It's like, no, you don't. That's actually going to create so many more problems, because like increasing your volume doesn't automatically increase how much you make, right? It doesn't do that, right? What you're going to have now is more leads slipping through the cracks.
Right.
What you need to do is, like, we looked at stuff. We're like, okay, I looked at how many dead deals I've had, and I'm like, holy shit, we have so many leads that are dead. Well, why? Why did they call in? Oh, because this thing or this lot. Oh, this is overpriced, or this or that. It's like, okay, so that should not happen, right? If they call in and they want too much money, I get it. That happens a lot. No problem. Let's connect you to a realtor or whatever. Or if it's like a bad property, well, our scrubbing process has to get better. Or if it's like our price is wrong, okay, price it better. We got to be better at our pricing. Like, if we overprice the market or whatever, okay, we'll get more granular on your pricing and be better at it, right? And then like market selection. Oh, we didn't buy this one because it's too many days on market. Well, why did we pick that market to begin with? Right. So like our market selection comes into play. So like now what we've done, we're changing a bunch of things inside our business where we're like, all right, let's get so granular on our pricing. Let's get so granular in our selection, so granular on everything, even down to like the words we're putting in our mailer. Let's make it smaller so people aren't like reading 1,000 words because nobody gives a shit. They want to read a smaller blurb.
Right.
Like 20 seconds of attention. That's all you got from somebody. Make it quick. Right. Make them call. Get that call to action out there. So we've changed a whole bunch of things. And honestly, I think this year we've sent, it's February 26th. We've sent probably like maybe 5,000 pieces so far, if that. I got to look at my numbers, but like I have 1,500 going out next week, but I'm fine with it. It's okay.
It's quality. It's quality. Yep. I've even been able to take, so some of my largest deals, I'm taking the profile of that seller and I'm seeing if I can average them out. Like, okay, well, let's take 3 deals in this area, right? Okay, I did 3 deals in this area. They sold within this amount of time. What was the seller like? Actually, when I look at it, these sellers are all fairly similar, right? They're maybe all business owners, or they maybe all own the property for a certain amount of time. They use this kind of language on our call. Okay, let me take that data and can I hit this market again, like talking to the same person in that area? And I've tested this and it's done well, right? I think this is a data game. Like the longer you play this game, the better you become at it, because then you can start doing things like that and going into your numbers, the properties you've already sold, deals you've already done, and then you can speak to sellers. It's no longer just the generic 2-page letter template anymore. It's no longer just a generic letter template. You're actually speaking to specific people. And that can be in a text message. I haven't tested email yet, but it could be in an email. It could be in a mailer, it could be all of that. And I think that that's really powerful. It's definitely quality and quantity.
Yeah, we did I did this like poll inside LIA about like seller avatars.
Yeah.
And you know, it's pretty crazy. Like everybody always thinks that most sellers are people who have pain, right? They have a reason to sell. But when you think about land in general, it's usually people who are in a better financial position that own this type of property, right? Because whether they bought it, they had an extra 100K in the 80s and they bought a property or whatever the case may be, they inherited 20 years ago from their parents who were in a better position to buy some land, whatever.
Right.
So typically it's not somebody who's broke and needs money.
No.
So that motivation piece, like that, like with houses, people have to sell their house. Like there's usually a reason why, right? Because they're broke, they need money, they got to sell it, or they're on the street, right? That's it.
Right.
With land, they'll usually sell this asset and then they still have their house, right? So it's not their only asset, right? So we notice with the seller avatars, they're typically not in a rush to sell. Like they have no like high motivation or need to get something like ASAP. Very like few. The average seller is 55 plus.
Yeah.
Average seller's male predominantly.
Yep.
And like 75% are male. The average 75% or 80% of all sales were not inherited. They were purchased and they've owned them more than 10 years. So like just that, if you could narrow your marketing down to just that, you'll do tenfold better.
You can talk to that specific person too. Like, how does that person talk? What kind of language do they use? What kind of words do they use? And I can use those words on my marketing. And that
makes your marketing a little bit bigger too, because you got to think they're 55 plus.
Exactly.
Things like that, you know?
It's just really powerful stuff. When you start to break these things down, you realize it's not just like send the mail, have calls. It's not just that. Like you can actually, you can start to predict your results when you get numbers like this, right? When you start to see your statistics like that. And that's what we've been able to do. So I think it's very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed too, like when you kind of like you're talking about, if you could gear your message towards somebody, specifically, if you know they're mostly males, okay, when you're doing, you could almost split your letters, males to females, like, and split that and like send one type of mailer for males and one type for females and change the wording and everything like that. And you're going to get a way better result. You know, it's not about sexist or anything like that. It's just like you're speaking to a person instead of generalizing them. Right. So if you do that, you're going to have a better result if you're really like focused on that stuff, you know?
One thing I've tested too with that, with inbound marketing is instead of, it goes through the answering service and then we cold call, we'll go through the answering service and then we'll actually book a call. So especially with that, more higher tier profile of seller, it speaks, okay, this is way more of a service. Okay, we're going to do a consultation call on your property at this specific time. They already know what time it is. Then there's no cold call. There's no like, oh, there's no awkwardness, because they already knew I had to book a call at this time at 11:30. That's especially with this kind of deal that we're talking about with this kind of seller, that's done extremely well, because we know, okay, 10 calls today, and the call rate and the amount of times that we're actually able to speak to a person versus the times that when I tested it and, Pat Live or Answer Force calls in, they do all that, they take it down, and then we just cold call them. The call booking strategy has actually worked way better.
I agree.
Too.
We haven't done it yet. Now, I've been back and forth about actually implementing that. And I've actually been back and forth about implementing that with having my acquisitions manager take live calls instead of answering service, taking the calls during like his working hours. So what you could do with Answer Force is you could have like call routing hours. So like if your AM is working from like 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. or whatever the number is, right? Then all calls get routed to them from 12 to 6. Anything outside of that window would go through Answer Force, and they could book a call or whatever. So I've been back and forth on maybe doing that and having them, like, it would do 2 rings. If the AM doesn't pick it up, it goes to Answer Force. Answer Force picks it up, and then they book a call for the AM, right? So how are you doing it? You have like a Calendly link, and then they'll book it.
Yeah, Pat Live will basically act like an appointment setter, and they'll set an appointment based upon the calendar that they already have.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I really want to do that. I do have to implement that. So you motivated me to get that done this week.
What's even better is that we've set it up so that they get email. I mean, you can do this on Calendly. They get emails before they get, and in the email and in the text message, there's some framing content that shows who we are, what we've done. Because I think that when there's no like company attached to this, and you just see all these mailers and you're getting all these texts, it kind of seems like everything is the same. So I want to create some kind of difference between me and everyone else. So that you can click on these links and you can see, oh, okay, they've done this amount of deals. Okay, this is what people have said about them. This is the kind of land they bought. Okay, these people are serious, right? And I'm willing to have the conversation. I can take this more seriously than, hey man, I'll give you quick cash for your land, right? It works a lot better when we're promoting ourselves and presenting ourselves as, service based. Like, we're here to help you, right? This call is really to see how we can help. What are your pain points? What are your potential issues? That's what this is about. It's not always, and once I can assess all that, then I know how good my room is going to be for negotiation and how I should make an offer. Then I know that. But I think a lot of people get on the phone and are just like, all right, I just need to make an offer at this price.
Right.
Well, that will work. That's not always going to work with a higher tier of seller. It just won't work. If you say, oh, okay, well, yeah, dude, I can do about $220,000. And you have, like you said, you haven't built any rapport. You don't know what their story is. You don't know why they want to sell. We really got to get the why. Like, why? Once I can figure out why, then I can tell them, oh, well, yeah, I've dealt with, it's crazy because we can say we've dealt with another situation similar to every property now because we've already dealt with all these properties. So I can say I've dealt with this specific person, and this is why he wanted to sell. He was in a very similar situation to you. So even mirroring that, oh man, so you've already helped someone like me. When you start building these things, you build confidence in their mind that even if the pricing is a little bit off of what they want, they know you're going to do it compared to a maybe somewhere else. And that's what you have to create. When you create that, you're able to just continue to do deals. So
it's called third-party stories, right? So basically you're using a third-party story to build rapport and trust. So instead of just saying, you could trust me, you could trust me, you could trust me, you just say, hey, you know what? I dealt with Jack. We had the same exact thing where his wife passed away and we had to go through probate. It really sucked. And, it was the worst thing because it's very emotional to go through this stuff. So what we were able to do is we took all the paperwork and stuff and handled it. He just dealt with the emotional side of things. And that was that. It made this transaction seamless, whatever. When you say stuff like that, instant rapport. The seller knows, okay, he's doing the work. He knows my pain points, and he's just going to deal with the paperwork. I don't want to deal with it because that's just going to be too emotional to me. At the end of the day, I walk away. It's not even about the money. It's about the transaction and getting it done and off my plate. that's really what they want, is they don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
Right. So if you could take that out of there and use a third party story, it doesn't even have to be real. Like, I mean, you want to be real and legit, but like,
I make it real.
yeah,
But yeah, I hear you.
yeah, you could use a story that is like kind of pseudo made up if you wanted, you know what I mean? Like, but sound like legit, or frame a, instead of calling it Jack, call it Sally, like whatever you want to do. But like, you can do it if you're just new in the business. Like, go attack that. Use our third party stories that we always talk about when we talk about deals.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just like, I call it like, stealing, whatever, like borrowing other people's stories, whatever. You could do that. Like, just do that. Build yourself a rapport. We also just tested. So after my talk with Kay, I don't know if you're doing this too, but we just switched up to Regis office instead to get a better like grounds of what we look like. So when you Google our address, it comes up in Durham, North Carolina, and it's this big commercial like building. It's not like a Staples or anything like that. Like if you look up like Anytime Mailbox or whatever, it's typically like a Staples or whatever. So we did that. And now we're implementing like getting it Google verified and all that stuff. Right. So stuff like that is also going to help you. I don't know if you're doing that in your business or not, but.
Oh yeah, I have tested that before. The one thing I've seen with Google reviews and anything that is a public place where people can go put reviews, all it takes is to piss one seller off, and they go on there and say, oh, these guys are scammers. And if they look you up, then that's the first thing they'll see. I mean, I've been through it when it comes to this business. I've been on news before, all these things. So I try to, when it comes to public perception, I try to just direct them to my website and make sure the website, the framing content on that is really good. And then on top of that, we're sending them things to their email. We're sending them text messages with, here's how we've helped, here's who we've helped. When it comes to like Google profiles, I mean, I think they can be good, but like I said, it takes one person to not have their coffee in the morning and say some stuff about you when they've never even spoken to you or called, or so it takes one thing. So that's kind of my opinion on that. I wouldn't do that just because I can't control that. I don't want to do anything or put anything out there to a seller that I cannot control. I need to be able to control that. Because there's already so much language about, these land flippers are scammers, and like they want to stay as far away from that as possible, right? And so if I see someone, it's not the truth, and they just say some stuff on the Google profile, that's the first thing you look up. And so but what I do, we'll do a lot of articles as well. Like we'll have a lot of articles to help a seller understand, who we've worked with and how, so that if they look us up, you're seeing a bunch of different articles about our company. So
that's good. And we have like infographics and stuff that I created that are like easy. They're branded to our brand and all that stuff. And I shared it inside LIA, and anybody could go pay Yofi and he'll rebrand it to your brand. You can use my exact thing. I don't care. So what it does is basically like, it's an infographic. It shows the steps for a seller. Hey, this is how it works. These are the things, like, this is the process, this is how it goes. So like when we send you a contract, boom, here's the little steps. And another one is like, what are the things that I have to gather? Okay, here you go. Like, boom, here's all the things you got to gather, like that you might need. It's like, grab your survey, grab your this, grab your that. Like, do we actually need that stuff? Probably not. No, like we'll get it. Like, it's great if we have it, but it's like, whatever. It just shows that we actually are doing the business. We understand what we're doing. Like, we know what we're doing. It's kind of it.
I have to go tomorrow.
Yeah. And the thing with Google is like, you're right. 100%. You are right with the Google reviews. What sucks about us, our business is Cash for Land USA. There's another company that has been around since like 2015. It's called Cash for Land, not USA, just Cash for Land. They have a bad review on BBB. They're not even on Better Business Bureau. But when you Google Cash for Land, if you don't put the USA, that comes up. And then boom, it instantly says we're a scammer. And I've called and I've tried to get that removed, and they're like, no, we can't remove it. I'm like, yeah, but they're not even registered with the BBB. Like, that should not even be coming up. That should be whatever. So we've been trying to combat that and like do that. And I honestly, at this point, it's like, might have to just change the name, because like, if there's bad PR on that, like, I wonder how many deals we're losing because of that stupid thing.
Probably a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like, the things that you can't control are like, those are intangibles. And so that's why I do my best to make sure that like We just have a lot of content for a seller,
Yep.
right? And I do my best to also make sure that you can't really go anywhere and leave a review or anything like that, because once you do, and then even staying out of certain states that are more, you know,
That's huge,
more
right?
political, right? Because there
Yep.
are certain states that are very political that will, their AG will come after you
Yep.
because I like that. Or maybe I sent an offer on farmland that we didn't mean to send an offer on, or things like that's happened before. You just learn from those mistakes and just like, okay, well,
Yep.
process needs to be seller gets my letter. First thing they're going to do, they're either going to call or they're going to look you up. Most of the time, they're going to look you up. And when they
Yeah.
look me up, they need to see great thing, great thing, great thing, great thing. They need to see all great things, and then they'll call, right?
Yep.
And then once they call, we're going to continue to send them great things about our company so that we continue to build that trust. But I would say, even further than that, like 95% of the trust is built on the phone. So
Yep.
that's the other factor about this. These are like all these exterior things, but if you're really good on the phone, even if you have a bad review, you're probably still going to be able to get a deal done.
Yep.
But there are people that just will not call just because they saw that review. So
100%. Yeah. What we do too is like on our main mailer, we put a QR code that brings them right to our website.
Yep.
And I've noticed there's a lot of people that go to that. And what that does is that stops them from Googling, Cash for Land USA or at Cash for Land. They'll go to that. They'll see our website, see our testimonials, see our stuff. And it's like, great. And, they see all the articles we have, everything like that. It's like, cool. Then they call or they'll submit their property online, even though whatever, like they'll submit their property online. Then we get a lead in from that. And then we call them back, whatever. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't know why I haven't ever implemented this. And I've always been trying to, but that stupid Calendly link is the easiest button to push.
Yeah,
and it's like, it takes away so much, and it takes having these conversations with other land investors that are like doing really well, or just other land investors in general, just having these conversations to think like, shit, why am I not doing that? It's like $5 a month service that could literally make me hundreds of thousands from one click, So
it just makes you look a lot more official, and that's what you want to do. Like even when I wasn't making any money with this business, I still tried my best to make myself look like an official, like very, very profitable company. From day one, that's how I tried to make myself seem. And that's what people want to work with. They don't really want to work with, from what I've seen, they don't want to work with the person that's working out the back of their garage. They want to work with the person that they feel like can do the deal when it comes time. And that's usually going to be the very profitable company that's done it a lot of times. So even if you're just starting doing this, if this is the first video you've ever watched about land flipping, when you get on the phone and talk to these people, you want to present yourself as someone that's experienced, as someone that's done this, even if you haven't. They'll trust you a lot better and a lot faster. So
I think the days of like the mom and pop investor kind of thing is kind of like done. Like it's kind of ran its cycle.
Yeah.
And you almost have to be that professional investor to be able to actually get deals done. Because there's a lot of people that, people go back and forth. Like mom and pop's better. No, this is better. And no, like I almost think the professional, like we are a professional company that this is what we do. It does make you stand out better. Yeah, I know, like whatever, but like it just shows that you could get the deal done, especially like a $200,000 property. It's not like a $5,000 property that you're going to buy from Joe Schmo and you're going to, go record the deed yourself, right? Like this is a big chunk of money and a big whatever. Like I have a guy right now, we're working on a deal, that huge deal, whatever. I don't want to talk about this, but big deal. But the guy's like, literally, he's like, I want to do a background check on you guys and a credit check. Like, okay. And he said that, and I was like, he said it, and I no hesitation. I said, yeah, no problem. And what does that tell him? Like, oh, okay, this guy's not even hesitating. Yeah. All right. Good. 9 times out of 10, he's probably not even going to do it. But just the fact that he asked and there was no hesitation from myself and my partner to do it, yeah, no problem. We'll send you our info. Just let me know what you want.
Right.
So, and because then he told us he actually worked for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac doing loans and stuff like that. So like he knows the scams and all that shit. So he's like, yeah, I just want to do this, and it's a big chunk of money. Like I want to make sure. We're like, yeah, no problem, whatever you want. So like, right there, that being that professional investor for those higher tier properties, you're going to be better. When
you try to do deals like the deals we're talking about, where you're making multiple 6 figures on a deal, or you're making $100,000 on a deal, you have to be that, because the person on the other end of that phone is a more sophisticated person. I've never made more than $100,000. I'm thinking about it. I've never made more than $100,000 on a deal with a person who was unsophisticated or was not
Yep.
running a business or didn't own a lot of assets. So when we were talking about before, like the pain isn't I need more cash. The pain might be I need to liquidate this into something else because,
Yeah.
we want to buy another property or I want a 1031 because I found something else. That's the pain.
Almost always.
You got to be able to talk
Always.
about that. It's not about the profile of seller that we do these larger deals with. They're not worried about taking care of their bills. They're
No.
not worried about that. And so you have to be able to meet them at that level. If that's the place where you're at, you got to meet them at another level of like, yeah, I'm also the sophisticated investor. Right.
Yes.
And I remember when I hadn't done any deals like that before. And I did my best to just play that role. I did my best to just mirror them before I'd done any deals. Now it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But like at that time, that's what it takes to do these kinds of deals. Cause it's not the pain is not I'm lacking something.
Right.
The pain is more I need to use this to do something else with it. That's what it is. Or I just got divorced and I need to do this. So you're not going to get them with the quick cash fast thing.
No.
It won't happen.
No.
So,
Yeah, because they don't care about that. They want to know, is this transaction going to go through and is it going to be smooth?
exactly.
Right. That's pretty much all they care about because they may have headaches. They need cash for growth or something like that, or they got to go buy a $200,000 tractor because they own 5,000 acres and they're just going to sell you this 50-acre parcel, whatever. And like that's it. So like that's a lot of times what we're dealing with. Most of the people that are like, that I'm thinking about it now, like the deals that we've done where it's like we've given them money because they're in pain. It's typically because like they need to buy a car or something like that. And those deals are like buy for 30, sell for 70,
Right.
That's kind of what those are. But anything bigger than that, the guy's like, yeah, I am retired. That's just my hunting property, this and that. I bought it 30 years ago. I own my own business, this and that. And now I don't use it anymore. So I'll sell it to you for 200. You're 100% right. That's exactly what it is. So by being that professional, you're going to get better results.
Right.
For sure.
10 times out of 10 times. 10 times out of 10 times.
Especially if you're going for subdivides and entitlements.
Yep.
You're not going to be a subdivide entitlement guy by just being mom and pop. Does not work like that.
That's the other thing I want to say about subdivides and entitlements. I think you can, again, watch the content, see people doing really big numbers. And if you don't have your land business established yet to where
don't do it.
Do not do it. Don't try to like just do one big deal and wait 18 months. Like don't do it. You're not going to make in that 18 months, you could have done 50 deals and 50 really, really good deals. So focus on, I always say at least at the very least, $500,000 liquid. You can do that in 18 months. And then you can go on to do the larger deals, but you shouldn't be doing anything like that where it's capital intensive. You got to build roads, you got to do all these things. And then where's your cash flow? You got no cash flow. So it's going to be really important, especially if you're just starting, build up that cash flow first before you start to like, oh, man, I can make $5 million on this deal. Because more often than not, it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen.
Yep.
So don't look for like the one big rip. Look for like a few, like the doubles, the triples. Like let's consistently do those first before we start doing these subdivides and entitlement deals, getting excited about those things. So
yeah, it's the same thing with like the hairy deals and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, partner with somebody that does. Like especially like a probate deal with multiple sellers, multiple heirs, whatever the case would be, stuff like that. They're going to run you through the ringer, and it's going to cost you some money, and it's going to take a lot of time, and you're going to lose focus on the rest of your business. So when you have stuff like that, there's people that want to work with that stuff. Like I know Jerry put a post out the other day. He's like, you got hairy deals, let me know. That's the guy you want to bring it to. Jerry's been in the business for a long freaking time. He's very experienced. Yeah. But why is he doing that? Because he knows he's got his business running. He's got the capital and the time to go through those hairy deals. And then, boom, you work with him. Yeah, you're cutting your profits, but you know what? You got the deal done.
And now you have experience.
Yes.
Now you have the deal done and you have the experience at a higher level. And I think that's another thing. When people get into this, they want the biggest piece of the pie. It's not about having that. When I started doing this, I wasn't taking really big pieces of the pie. I was just trying to learn from people that had done this before me. You need to be trying to learn, like, okay, how do I become extremely high level at this? If you can have a 1% land investing skill set, you're making more money than like 99% of Americans.
Yep.
So if you just master how to do that, and like if it's like, okay, I gotta fine, maybe take 50%, that's fine. I don't have to take the biggest piece of the pie on all these deals. Maybe if I'm taking 40%, but this is a high level operator. So I know that I'm going to learn. So now you've gotten through that deal. You've now learned how to do this deal. You can now do 20 more deals like this. The skill set never leaves you. The money will, but the skill set never does. And so you have to learn how to just continuously build your skill set. Like that's so important, because a lot of deals that I've closed, I've been able to inherit the skill set that it took to get that deal done. And then I can show 100 other people how to do the same thing. And that's very powerful. So you get yourself in a cycle, you're just able to just make more and more money.
That's it. Yeah, I agree too. And it's crazy once you start like realizing, like, if I could just let go of my ego a little bit and allow somebody to tell me what to do and hold my hand a little bit, I'm going to do much better. Right. Because once you learn it once, you go do it again yourself. Right. Maybe go partner again with somebody. Great. Just keep doing that. Right. But you're going to learn every single deal. Every single deal is different. Every single deal has a different complication, whatever the case may be. You know, like a lot of people don't want to use funders too, because they're like, they take so much of my money. Well, if you're working with a good funder, they're going to help you along the way.
Right.
And sometimes if a funder's saying no to a deal, it's because it's not a deal.
Yeah.
And you got to get it out of your head that it is. Right.
Yep.
If a funder is saying no, they're usually going to say yes to a deal because it's a deal and they want to make money, right? Why would they say no to it? So, but if a funder's telling you, no, it's not a deal, it's not because your margins are too thin or whatever. It's probably because the sales are shit, property shit, or something else. You know what I mean? So like, there's probably something inherently wrong, and you got to find out why they're saying no, right? So everybody's scared to make too little money, but like when we're trying to do subdivides, I'm not trying to do them by myself. It's me bringing partners in. So am I going to make $1 million, $2 million on a subdivide? Like, well, yeah, in the business, but like after I pay everybody, no. Like I'm probably going to walk away with the same amount if I did 3 or 4 small deals.
Right.
But the difference is I gain an experience. I gain that other little tool in my tool belt to then implement 5 years down the road when I get a 400-acre parcel coming in. Boom, I could just do it myself because I've done 6 or 7 with partners. You know?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I agree.
Having a growth mindset and the learning mindset always is where you want to be, even when you've already had success. That's one thing that I've been able to see in my continued growth and continuing to elevate, continue to just level up, is you have to continue to learn. There are people that will, do a lot of deals, have success, have accolades, and then you kind of sit back on that. But for me, I always am trying to connect with people that are high level. I'm always trying to talk to people that are high level, and just continue to just level up, because I just want to do better. Like I always want to just be 1% better, like always. So I don't think that you learn enough about this business. There's always something new. There's always a new situation. Even if you've done, I mean, you could have made $20 million doing this. There's still something to learn, right? And I just keep that mentality, and that's what allows me to continue to grow, for sure.
Everybody always asks to, or does this. They get this mentality where they do 5 deals or whatever the case, whatever the number is, and they're like, I'm going to start coaching and mentoring people. It's like, dude, you haven't got a consistent business yet. You don't have a track record. Like, why would you want to coach people when you can't even coach yourself?
You don't know.
You don't.
You don't know what happens when things go wrong. What happens when shit is burning? You don't know what to do. You've done a couple deals. If you don't have a track record of a few years doing deals in every kind of cycle, when interest rates are high, low, whatever the situation is, and you're still doing deals, that's when you can teach other people how to do it. But if you've done 5 deals and that's it, how are you gonna? I mean, there are so many problems that come up in this, that if you haven't done a certain amount of deals, you haven't gone through all those problems. And you do need to, like, in order to be a teacher, you need to cut your teeth. You do. You have to go through some things, so that way when someone else goes through it, you can tell them, oh, here's exactly how to deal with that situation. I've been through that. Right? Because
like
it's not always go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, that's like people like you, people like Sumner that have a ton of experience. Like when you guys are talking about coaching and stuff like that, it makes sense because you've done the deals, you've done so many transactions, you understand that.
Right.
Like people ask me all the time, like, hey, are you going to, have your own coaching program, mentorship? I'm like, never. I don't want that. I want people to go to the people that have way more experience, right? And keep going with that. I'll just keep doing my thing. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy coaching underneath and helping other people. But I'm not like a one-on-one mentor. I don't want to do that because to me, it's just like I'm doing you a disservice. Go to the people that have done hundreds of deals, Like I iterate my own way. I know real estate really freaking well, but it's more of like housing and this and like things like that. It's totally different.
Right.
But it's just different. Dude, but it's funny, like even like I've had people that are way more experienced in land call me and ask me questions because of my other real estate experience, just because like that's how shared knowledge works, right? I could probably help out a little bit, which I was able to do. And they've done probably 60 times more deals in land than I have.
Right.
But still, it's just that experience is experience in this type of thing. It's just, people got to get it out of their head that being a coach is like this amazing thing. Like you're doing yourself a disservice and your clients a disservice if you're just a coach. Like really are.
You need to, first of all, if you're going to be a coach or a consultant, you definitely need to be continuing to do deals. You have to, because this thing will change every 3 months. The business changes every 3 months. I kid you not.
Okay.
There's always something new. And if you're not moving with those times, you're teaching the old way to do it that was from years ago, your people are not getting results. The second thing is really being able to drop your ego when it comes to learning once you've already had success. And I've gotten to sit down with him a couple times, but every single time I've sat down or hung out with Sumner or Mike Bull, anyone like that, my ears are just open. I'm just listening. Just listening, and I'm like, okay, well, here's my experience. But like it pales in comparison to like any other experience that I'll have, because when you can meet with someone like that who has done a certain amount of deals and they've been through the ringer, and like you got to open your ears to that and continuously open your ears and be able to connect with people like that on a consistent basis, because that's the only way you grow, right? And I will do that no matter how much money I make. It doesn't matter. I will always be like, hey, let's connect, let's sit down, let's have a conversation, because I want to know, like, let me compare my notes, not because I'm trying to beat you. I just want to be able to do the best that I can do, right? And maybe you're doing something that I'm not doing. Maybe I'm doing something that you're not doing, right? And I think we're having this conversation. I just think the collaboration is so important. I think a lot of people are like, oh, let me keep my market to myself. Let me keep my market.
That doesn't matter.
Why? I will give you guys all the markets that I have, the letters. I'll give you everything. You won't be able to do it the way I can do it.
Nope.
You just won't, right? And I have that confidence. And so when you have that, I mean, just collaborate with people, build relationships in this business, and build good ones, build long-lasting relationships. Like there was a point in time where Mike Bull specifically and we would talk every month for like a couple hours at a time, just talking about all kinds of stuff. We'll sit down and have lunch together. We'll just talk. We'll talk about deals. We'll talk about life, but we'll just talk. And that relationship and relationships like that, they mean so much to me, right? Because here's another person that went against the status quo and built their own life and is able to do what they want to do, right? And the more people that you can have like that, like Jerry, I talked to Jerry like that. Hey, Jerry, what do you think about this? I'll send him like cars. Hey, what do you think about this car? Because he's in the car.
I love sending him cars and watches. I love
but that's just so valuable, right? When you can get around, the more people you can get around that have taken the path that's least traveled, the more people you get around like that, the more people you learn from like that, the better you will do. And so stop thinking about competition all the time and trying to be better than the next guy, and just think about collaboration and being the best you can be. And whatever that looks like for you, that's fine. But just be the best you can be. And that's how you can consistently grow and elevate in your business.
And I tell people all the time, get in like an accountability group, 2 or 3, 4 people, and just meet once a month, at least, at minimum. Just do something. Meet, have a conversation. Maybe it goes nowhere. Maybe you just learn one thing. Maybe you learn nothing. I don't know, but just do something, right? And even people that are just getting into this business might have more knowledge than you do, but it might not correlate exactly, right? Like Kay Walker. So we had a couple conversations. Me and her had two great talks, and she's new to the land business, but even her, she's taught me a bunch of stuff. And I've been in real estate for a long time, but she's also been in real estate, but in a different sector. So the way when we were able to bring it together, her background is a lot of like Airbnbs, things like that. So that's all about customer service.
Yep.
So the way she's attacking her business is customer service to the T. Even her mailer, everything like that. On her mailer, it's like, you will talk to Kay or Candace. Like, who puts that? Nobody puts that, right? Stuff like that. Like, if you could do that, you're going to stand out. If you're super into your clients and really having good conversations with them, you're going to stand out. And that's why she's getting like an amazing close ratio. Like, I think she said 700 letters to a deal. It's insane.
It's framing.
That's insane, you know? Yeah. But she's smart at having those conversations, and that's the whole thing. She's a person that's only been in the business for less than 6 months.
Right.
But she'll crush it because she knows it's not a numbers game. It's not how much mail can I send out this month. It's not any of that. It's just how many good conversations can I have per month? How many people can I help and serve?
Right.
What it is.
That's all it is in this business. And when you come from that mindset, you're going to do more deals than anyone else, without a doubt. So I want to ask you, for your business, I guess, do you have like an exit in mind, like where you'll like, okay, I want to make this amount of money and then I won't do this anymore? Or do you think you'll always do deals?
I think we'll always have the business running. Like we'll always do deals in the back. But I do think it's going to change in the sense that we'll shift our gears more towards subdivides and development.
Yeah.
You know, because what I'm basically doing and why I got into land is my full implementation, probably within 10 years, is to get into from land to full development, like everything. I want to go full cycle. And, you know, I have tons of history with houses and stuff like that. So it's basically tying the two together. And I really want to develop these properties. And I know I could just get into develop, and I know I could just do that. You know, I could go and work for somebody and cut my teeth with that, but I don't want to do that. I really want to learn it and stuff like that and build something that I like. Because I don't want to build like the same cookie cutter communities that you see everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to build like a community. Like I'm thinking like community with community gardens, community with like where everybody kind of lives together. Like I want like a
master
mini
plan.
little, like a mini town in a way, you know, that's what I want.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not going to get that with the big DR Hortons and all them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's you say like a project like that is more like your crown jewel project of like,
pretty much
like a city's school. I mean, like a city, like a school here and just here, like that.
Yeah. Like if I were to buy like 500 acres and divide it up into like a mini town with everything in it, like it's got your general store, your this, your that, your all your little things, and it's a little pass-through town that probably everybody's going to forget about, right? But it's like something that, like in my head, I know I built that, and I put 300 homes in it, and all the people living there are happy, and you know they're living well and all that stuff. Like that's what I would love to build, is eventually something like that, you know. But it's time. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed about when I get it done. I'm 36 years old. I got plenty of time in my life to do it. So
that's a generational kind of property. I mean, kind of deal. If you can, I get 1 second? I want to get to your conversation. Okay, just give me 1 second.
Do your thing. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. That's the thing about this land business is you could always grow. You could always implement. You could always do different things. It doesn't always have to be like buy low, sell high, right? You could eventually build out these like crazy communities and things like that. That's what I love about it. Let me see what we got here. We got a couple questions. What range offers? What percent of retail range do you typically sell? Hold on 1 second. So we typically we're anywhere between 35 and 65%, depends on what it is. So we're back and forth between that. It's all different, honestly. It depends on the deal, depends on the size, everything like that. So that's kind of where our offers come from. The main why for the sellers is huge, right? You need to find out what your why is. Does Femi, do you do larger acreage? Yeah, you do pretty much larger and higher lots.
Yeah,
you don't do any smaller. Yeah,
biggest I ever done was 700 acres.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, cool. I got to wrap up because I'm taking the kids hiking. But yeah. So last thoughts. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just bigger picture, higher level. Make sure that you're framing your sellers.
Mm-hmm.
You need to present yourself as a service always on the acquisition side and the disposition side. Start having confidence in aiming for bigger deals consistently. Don't
Mm-hmm.
think that the smaller deal is going to be easier, because I promise you it will not be.
They're never easier.
It won't be. And collaborate with people.
Mm-hmm.
Collaborate, get into this community, get into LIA,
Yeah.
learn from everyone here. There's a lot of great people to learn from. There
Mm-hmm.
are, and apply it. Like, apply it.
Yep.
Oh, the last thing too, we talked about that. Don't come into this thinking that you're going to get rich overnight. Don't come into this trying to play the lottery. Build a business over time. Build wealth
Mm-hmm.
over time. When you do that, you will always make more money than all the other people that, oh man, I had that one deal that one time and it didn't happen. Right.
Yep.
And just put your head down. And then,
yep. We don't fill these jars by just playing the lottery, right? All these jars are filled by consistently doing deals and taking time and making sure things are going right. Right. I don't just throw mailers out there and these jars get filled. I mean, they kind of do, but whatever. But no, these are all filled with deals, and each one of these deals is a story of somebody we helped. That's what they are, you know. And I have a whole box of them I got to put up. I haven't put up yet. So, but that's what happens. Like, over time, like, every one of these deals has a story. What I'm actually going to go do is go back and put a note inside of the story of each deal. It's like one thing when I have time, I'm going to do that.
That's a great idea to just put a note.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Roll up a note and stick it inside so I can remember each deal, why we did it, what happened with the seller, all that stuff. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to eventually do that. But build a consistent business and just really take the time to, like, look at it, every little aspect, every little nook and cranny. You see, like, a lot of people, like, they come in this thing, they expect results in 6 months, and, you know, 6 months in a year, if they're not making $1 million, they failed. It's like, this is not a get rich overnight. You're not going to go crazy. You're not going to make a shit ton of money like in 2 weeks. Doesn't work like that.
Right.
But you know what? You stick with this in 3 years. Once you crest that, I almost see it like clockwork. Almost everybody who hits that 3-year mark, they start going crazy.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just like at that point you realize, like, I've been getting these consistent wins. I've learned, like, how to do the marketing, how to do everything. All of a sudden, like, it just all culminates, and then you just start going crazy, and it's working. So, got to stick with it.
The time is going to pass either way, guys. So during that time, you might as well just put your head down, do the work, follow the processes, follow the systems, and get your results. It will take time, but it will be so worth it when you're able to get up and do whatever you want to do. So,
and if you only have the marketing budget for 500 letters a month, you could do that. You could make a ton of money with $500 a month. Be so freaking sniper with it. Like, that's what you have to do. And go for the bigger deals. Don't be afraid, because guess what? You bring me a 70-acre parcel that's got 100K spread, we'll do it together.
Yep.
Like, without a shadow of a doubt. And I know you would too.
Yeah, I'm your guy.
Yeah. That's dude, all day long. I know it. Like, that's the thing. Is like, and we're not going to make you feel like an idiot too. We're not going to be like, oh yeah, sign it to me, I'll give you 5K. Like, no, I want to work with you. I want you to make 50 grand on the deal. You know, you could go out and be sniper with deals, go pick markets, go pick properties, really skinny it down, send out 500 letters a month, and absolutely crush people. You know, absolutely, you could do it. It's just, you know, you got to take a little time. It's going to take time. It's not going to be, you can't just pull data, send mail, and expect results. Doesn't work like that. So
it never will.
No. But yeah, man, this is awesome. We gotta do more of these. Shout out. We gotta do more of these. Hop in another call. I'd love to see you on here. It's great talking to you. We didn't even talk about, like, our deals at all.
There's so many things we didn't even cover. So yeah, I'll definitely have to come back on here at some point.
We'll have to do a part 2 when you got time. Any new, where are you going next? Where's your next?
We're actually going to Mexico this weekend. We planned that, like, we booked that like last week. We're going to Mexico next weekend, and then we're going to do a lot of other cooler trips. I think we're going to spend Christmas in Spain.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right. I think we're going to do Thanksgiving in Cape Town.
Okay.
Actually going to Dubai for a mastermind that I'm really excited to go to. It's like 15-person mastermind. I'm like, that's probably gonna be the highlight of my year. But besides,
Yeah. What mastermind is that?
William Brown is his name. It's not even land related.
Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't have to be land related.
William Brown is his name, and he sold an info business for multiple seven figures.
That's amazing.
A lot of guys like that, so I'm really excited.
You know how much you're going to learn from that. A lot of people like only go to land masterminds, and it's fine. But you know what? You need to go to other masterminds, business, real estate, things like that. That's how you grow your business.
Right.
There.
Yeah. Connect with guys that are making $10 million a year, $15 million a year, $20 million. That's like my objective, because that's where I want to be. I want to be a guy that does 8 figures net profit consistently. So I do my best to connect with those people, every week. And then Sumner, I hope you see this. I would like to go to Bali for your mastermind. So if you're doing that, I'm down to go. Take the whole family.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make him do that.
Cool. Okay.
We'll probably, I think it's gonna have to be 2 though. It's probably gonna be a Vegas and then a Bali one.
Okay.
Probably dual, because
you have a few investors higher level, and then you have people that are just getting into this. I think that's good to do both.
Yeah, because a lot of people, it would cut out a lot of people that are just trying to get into it,
right?
Because like they can't get to Bali. But no, but dude, I love it. I'm actually we're trying to get, if we could get people to watch our kids, that's the biggest thing right now. Me and my wife are trying to go to this awesome mastermind. You know who Steve Sims is?
No.
So awesome guy. I'm gonna bring him on here actually in like April.
Mm-hmm.
Really great guy. Look him up. He has some of the most different masterminds. He calls them speakeasies, right? What he does, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. He gives you a location, fly to Sacramento, whatever. Actually, this one's in California. It's in May. You should go to it. It's like $2,000 too. It's nothing.
Really?
Yeah, it's Sims. I think it's called what the hell is it? Sims Speakeasies or something like that. Steve D. Sims. Look him up.
Okay.
It's like $2,000, $2,100, something like that. But what he does, he doesn't tell you where you're going, right? This one mastermind, he took people out. It was in Vegas. I think it was in Vegas or in Nevada, whatever. And day one, you toured Tesla's Gigafactory.
Wow, that's cool.
You met with Elon Musk, had a conversation talked to him, all this stuff. And then he brought in like all these other coaches, like other like influential business people, all this stuff. And then the next day he brought you to the Bunny Ranch, which is the oldest like prostitution house. Like the reason why he did that is he said, I'm bringing to the newest business in the world and the oldest business in the world. And everybody said, I learned more about business going to the Bunny Ranch than I did from Elon Musk.
Wow. That's really interesting.
And it's crazy. It's just because like the way they do things, like the way they look at people and like understand like how they have money. Like everybody thinks like, oh, I have a $30,000 watch, I have money. Well, the girls there were like, yeah, the people that actually have money are the ones that take the time to match their socks with their clothes and their belts with their shoes. If you have your life together and do that stuff, then I know you actually have money.
Right.
And I'm like, shit, like looking at my belt, I'm like, man, I'm a mess. I got to get my shit together.
I'm going to from the Bunny Ranch, but I'll take the tip. Just get me.
Yeah. No, they did. It's just like, it's really cool, like the different things, but like it was kind of crazy. He talks about that mastermind and he's like, I had like attorney generals that were in this mastermind and I brought them to the Bunny Ranch. Like, just funny. Like he's like, these guys could probably get indicted for coming here, but they didn't go there for that. They just went there for whatever. But
just
really cool stuff.
It was closed. It was closed for the day. Yeah.
It was closed for the day. They weren't doing any activities. Yeah. Okay. Awesome, man. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a great conversation. Absolutely down.
Loved it. Awesome, man. Thanks. We'll talk soon, bro.
Let's talk soon.
Later.